The fluorescent lights hummed softly in the grocery store that Thursday evening. Margaret stood at the checkout counter with her infant son tucked against her shoulder. Her hands trembled slightly as she placed a can of formula on the belt. Behind her stood a man in a dark wool coat holding his young daughter. His name was Robert Chun, and he had just come from another 70-hour work week. The numbers from quarterly reports still danced behind his tired eyes. Margaret's older daughter, Emma, clung to her mother's gray coat. The little girl watched everything with curious brown eyes. When the cashier scanned the formula, the total appeared on the screen. Margaret reached into her worn purse and began counting bills. Her face went pale. She counted again. The cashier waited patiently, tapping one finger on the counter. Margaret's voice came out barely above a whisper. "I'm so sorry. I thought I had enough. Could you please remove the formula? I'll just take the bread and milk." Emma tugged on her mother's sleeve. "Mama, what about Tommy's food?" Margaret's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them back. "We'll figure something out, sweetheart. Don't worry." Robert watched this exchange. He had spent the entire day in meetings about profit margins and cost reduction strategies. His company had just posted record earnings. He would receive a substantial bonus next month. Yet standing in that checkout line, something shifted inside him. He saw his own mother in Margaret's tired shoulders. Decades ago, his mother had stood in similar lines, making impossible choices: rice or vegetables, medicine or bus fare, heat or electricity. Those memories lived in his bones. His daughter whispered in his ear, "Daddy, why is that lady crying?" Robert gently set his daughter down and stepped forward. "Excuse me." His voice was quiet but steady. "Please ring up her formula with my items." Margaret turned around, startled. "Oh, no, I couldn't possibly." Robert met her eyes. His own daughter was watching. He thought about the kind stranger who once paid for his mother's groceries when he was 7. That moment had stayed with him for 40 years. "Please, I insist. It's no trouble at all." The cashier looked between them and then scanned the formula with Robert's groceries. Margaret's hands went to her face. "Thank you. My husband passed away 6 months ago, and I'm trying so hard, but everything keeps getting more expensive and—" Her voice broke. Robert understood that exhaustion, the kind that seeps into your soul when you're responsible for small lives that depend on you. "You're doing a beautiful job. Those children are lucky to have you. Keep the formula. And please," he reached into his wallet and handed her his business card along with several bills. "If you ever need help, there's a family assistance program at my company. We're always looking for good people. Call this number." Margaret stared at the card through her tears. "Robert Chun, Chief Financial Officer." She looked up at him. "This is too much. I don't know what to say." Robert smiled. A real smile. The first genuine one in months. "Say you'll take care of yourself and those beautiful children. That's enough." Emma suddenly stepped forward and hugged Robert's leg. "Thank you for helping my mama." Robert's daughter reached out and took Emma's hand. "Your baby is cute. What's his name?" "Tommy," Emma said with a shy smile. The two little girls stood there holding hands while their parents completed the transaction. Something unspoken passed between Robert and Margaret, a recognition of shared struggle, of human dignity, of the thin threads that connect us all. Margaret gathered her bags. Before she left, she turned back. "You've given me more than groceries tonight. You've given me hope. Thank you." Robert watched her walk toward the exit. His daughter tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, you're a good person." Those words struck him harder than any board meeting ever had. He realized he'd been so focused on numbers and growth that he'd forgotten why any of it mattered. That night, after putting his daughter to bed, Robert sat in his study. He opened his laptop and drafted an email to the executive team. He proposed expanding their employee assistance program, creating a hardship fund for community members, partnering with local food banks. The next morning, Margaret called the number on his card. Within 2 weeks, she had an interview. Within a month, she was hired as an administrative assistant. She proved to be exceptional, organized and dedicated, and grateful for the opportunity. 3 years later, Margaret had been promoted twice. She managed an entire department. Her children thrived. Emma excelled in school. Tommy grew into a healthy, energetic toddler. Robert's initiatives had helped hundreds of families. The company's culture shifted. Employees felt valued. Productivity increased. But more importantly, people remembered what business was really for: serving the community, creating opportunity, lifting others up. Sometimes Robert and Margaret would pass each other in the hallway. They'd share a knowing smile, a silent acknowledgement of that evening in the grocery store, of how one moment of kindness can change everything. Emma and Robert's daughter became friends. They had play dates and birthday parties. The girls never fully understood the significance of how their families met, but they grew up watching their parents treat others with compassion. That lesson shaped who they became. Years later, when someone asked Robert about his greatest professional accomplishment, he didn't mention the acquisitions or the revenue growth. He talked about that Thursday evening, about a young mother and a can of formula, about remembering where he came from, about choosing humanity over indifference. Because in the end, we're not measured by what we accumulate. We're measured by how we treat each other in moments that matter, when no one's watching, when there's nothing to gain, when it's simply the right thing to do. Those are the moments that define us. Margaret never forgot that grace extended when she needed it most. She paid it forward countless times, helping other struggling parents, mentoring young mothers, donating to food banks. The ripple of that single act of kindness spread wider than either of them could have imagined, touching lives they'd never meet, creating a legacy built not on wealth, but on compassion. And somewhere in the universe, those small acts of goodness accumulate, building a better world, one moment at a time, one person at a time, one choice at a time. If this story touched your heart, please share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness. Your story might inspire someone else to pay it forward. Let's create more moments of grace together.